Okay, wow. All right, it looks like today we are live on Facebook, on YouTube, and also on LinkedIn. So we'll see how that goes today. I am kind of flying by the seat of my pants. I had a really busy weekend trying to play catch up here today and had a busy morning with, being a mom and getting stuff done for my family and trying to get organized for the week ahead. And to be honest with you, too, I I really miss my pup. We had to say goodbye to our Chihuahua mix, our Chiweenie, Jack's of 14 years, a little over a month ago. And so I was actually just talking with my mom, and I was like, oh gosh, I gotta go live because I just really feel that there's a void and I miss having a dog. And I work part-time from home, but I'm here a lot in our house and I really love having a support animal. And I miss my dog very much. So I was just looking at puppies and dogs for adoption and from the shelters nearby, kind of letting her know that. So that's what kind of made me a few minutes late. So I apologize for that. So let's just get into it. As always, please, everyone share this on your personal Facebook page so that people can get connected to community and support. We are a small, patient-driven, patient-focused nonprofit. We need all the support we can get, and we want to make sure anyone who is in the middle of either reaching for a lupus diagnosis or in the trenches of trying to discover what's going on, or maybe was diagnosed and doesn't know where to turn and what to read, what not to read, how to get connected to the community. We want you to find us. It's just so important when you're in the beginning of this journey to get connected to people who have your back and who have been through this before and can guide you along the way and be there just to listen, or if you need support and you ask for help, to be there for that as well. So anyway, please make sure you share this chat. As people log in, please write your name, write if you have lupus or a lupus overlap disease, such as scleroderma, rheumatoid arthritis, mixed connective tissue disease, fibromyalgia, Raynaud's, Sjogren's, something along those lines. And then write where you're joining us from. We have people who join these chats all over the world. So please tell us your name. If you have the condition, or maybe you're here to support someone living with the condition, how you're doing and where you're joining us from. And then any questions, any comments, any concerns. Maybe you are going to the rheumatologist for the first time and you don't know what to ask. Maybe you are considering switching a medication and you want to know if anyone else has tried that medication. Maybe you want to know more about what's around the pipeline, what's just come out with medications and therapies to treat lupus. Maybe you have a question about alternative therapies or supplements, or how to effectively communicate with your loved one, how to set up healthy boundaries, what to ask at your very short doctor's appointment. All of those things, post them here. Good morning, Darian. Good to see you. Oh my gosh, I miss you. I miss you so much. Post your comments, questions, concerns here. And once I get through some information and inspiration for your Monday, I will start at the top of the comments and I will work my way down, and I'll try and get through everything in the time that we have together. Just for fun, I thought I'd mention that today is National Clean Off Your Desk Day, the second Monday of January every year. It recognizes National Clean Off Your Desk Day. Yes, it's a thing. Actually, right now, my desk isn't too messy. This is my home office. And so right now I'm pretty proud of myself. I do have some organization things I need to do. I need to get my books organized. I need to get all the tax stuff out for 2024 so people have their donation letters. By the way, on that note, if you donated either via Instagram, Facebook, or our website online, anytime you made an online donation to More Than Lupus, you would have received an email after that donation. That email serves as your donation receipt. And you can still go on and see what you have donated in 2024 and print out any of those donations. If you don't recall, or maybe you forgot, or maybe you deleted that email after you donated, you can go on and you can print those out. So just so you have that on your person and you know, you can use that. Just like if you go to Goodwill and they hand you a donation slip, that is your slip. You add that to your tax donations for the end of the year. Donating to More Than Lupus is 100% tax deductible because we are a registered 501c3 nonprofit through the state of Oregon. Yeah. So please go ahead and do that. Facebook donations, Instagram donations, and anything on the website, as well as through our online donation portal, you can see and would have received a receipt via your email. And if you have any questions about that, you can feel free to private message us here or email me or direct message on Instagram, and I will direct you any questions regarding your tax donations. Besides it being National Clean Off Your Decks Day, today is Korean American Day. And Korean American Day is always on January 13th, and it commemorates the arrival of the first Korean immigrants to the United States all the way back in 1903. It also honors the rich cultural attributions and aspects that Korean culture brings to American society. My son is a second-degree black belt in Taekwondo, and Taekwondo is Korean martial arts. So he has had the unique privilege of stepping into some of that immense cultural contribution and seeing just a glimpse of what the Korean Americans have brought into the US in that beautiful, amazingly intricate, disciplined art form and sport of Taekwondo. And he's learned how to speak a little Korean through Taekwondo, and has had some incredible mentors and leaders who are Korean American. And we are so thankful for that. So happy Korean American Day. Let's see here. What else do I have to say? Well, let me just get into introducing myself for those that are streaming this live and maybe watching this later. My name is Kelly, and I am the creator and executive director of the Portland-based nonprofit, More Than Lupus. And I'm actually going to take a moment and share this on my personal Facebook page so that other people can see this and get connected. Oh, here we go. Share. If you or someone you know has lupus, please watch and share. Let's get some company here, right? Thank you guys for who is watching already, and let's see if we can get some more people on with us today. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm rushing around and it's all. If Genesis was here with us right now, Genesis was our teenage ambassador for a few years, and unfortunately she lost her battle with lupus at an early age, but she was so intricate in our online community and did so many things for us, including writing blogs and lives and different things like that. But she would always get on me about playing with my hair. So I just heard her voice say, "Stop playing with your hair." We love you, Genesis. You are always in our minds, in our hearts, always in our fight. But yes, my name is Kelly. And if you're joining us for the first time, More Than Lupus is an inclusive community designed by lupus patients, for lupus patients, with lupus patients being the center focus, to connect and to grow and to inspire you throughout the peaks and the valleys of your unique, one-of-a-kind lupus journey. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I do this every time to remind myself and hopefully remind you that we are more than a sum of everything that is wrong with us. So I like to think on and remind myself of my many parts. Lupus is one part, but I have many parts. One part is that I love florals. I love doing flowers. I had the privilege of designing florals for a wedding over the weekend. I love music. I love theater. I love kind of everything artistic, really. Design, theater, dance, music, floral design, art, fine art, all the things, yeah. But I also love chocolate, probably too much. I love a good book. I love a good podcast. I love a good conversation. I love just connecting with people and sitting in spaces with people and really seeing them, and hearing their stories. And I'm a mom. I love dogs. I love my husband. Um, I love eating good food. And oh yeah, I happen to have lived with systemic lupus erythematosus and multiple lupus overlap conditions since the age of 11. I have been hospitalized dozens of times, have had multiple surgeries, have had many rounds of intense immunosuppressive therapy, and am currently highly medicated. So, as most of us are. And I am your facilitator for today's Facebook Live support chat, hang time, community gathering, forum, chat, whatever you want to call it. So, before I go any further, let me give a brief disclaimer since I tend to get ahead of myself and then I forget because of lupus fog, and then I forget, and here you go. So here's the disclaimer for today's Lupus Live support chat. The More Than Lupus Facebook Lupus Live aims to be a positive and open space where you can both give and receive support and encouragement from others. I am not a doctor. I'm not Kelly MD. Therefore, I cannot give you medical advice or diagnose the symptoms that you may be having. I can't even tell you that what has helped me or what has hurt me in the last 33 years of living with lupus will help or be a burden to you. I can't tell you that. All that we can do at More Than Lupus is provide you with information and resources that hopefully you can take back to your doctor and in turn have an open and honest shared decision-making conversation about what is the best course of action for you. Additionally, this group is intended to provide support and encouragement to those who know someone living with lupus, a friend, a family member, a coworker, a loved one, someone in the industry who wants to learn more. If you do not fall into these two categories, though, this is not the right chat for you. Please keep all comments positive and any inappropriate material will be deleted. Sometimes when we're streaming these live, some people share this in spaces and places it shouldn't be shared. And I will see it. I will get rid of any comments, any spam, and all you have to do is refresh your page. You'll hear me say, refresh your page. Refresh your page, it'll be gone. Don't waste any morsel of your precious energy engaging in things that you know shouldn't be there, okay? So remember my motto, don't engage, refresh your page. Got it? Good. Also, as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm going to mention it again. I want to remind everyone to share. Share this on your pages, on your personal Facebook pages. The more you share, the more you care, the more other people are aware. Okay? And before I get into the topic, let me give you a couple updates. We have a special virtual event coming up this month in about a week and a half with Dr. Thomas, who wrote our favorite lupus handbook, the Lupus Encyclopedia, now in its second edition. This virtual symposium will be right here on Facebook Live. We'll see if I can stream it to on YouTube, which I probably will, and LinkedIn. We'll see. And it is called How Lupus Impacts Native, Alaskan, and North American Indigenous Communities. This event will spotlight the often overlooked, however, disproportionately impacted Alaskan Native and North American Indigenous communities and their social determinants to health, health biases, barriers to care, and more. I'm not sure if you're aware, for Hispanic and Latinx people who are watching this right now, we have a large Hispanic and Latinx following at More Than Lupus. In fact, our top engagement for More Than Lupus is coming from Mexico City. And Latinos carry, on average, 18% or more Native American ancestry. And there are more than 5 million Americans who identify as Native American and approximately 50 million Americans with Latino or Hispanic heritage. So you may think, well, I'm not Alaskan Native and I'm not North American Indigenous. Well, I would venture to say that if you were to do an ancestry DNA and you have or you think you have some Latino, Hispanic, or Latinx ancestry, this might actually really be something you should listen to because you probably do have a North American Indigenous ancestry. Genetically as well, Native Americans are most closely related to East Asian people, with about 37% of their ancestry derived of ancient North Eurasians. So if you are Asian descent too, that is something that would be, oh, happy birthday! Oh my gosh, today is your actual birthday, Mari. It's a big one. So happy that you decided to join us on your birthday. Like, how amazing is that? Thank you, Mari. Happy birthday. I'm just talking about the virtual event that we're having. And another reason is that in the Pacific Northwest, in especially Oregon, we have a larger population of Alaskan Natives as well here. And this is something we really never talk about. And it was actually, oh, tomorrow. Got it. Cool. Well, happy early birthday. It was actually something that Dr. Thomas brought up when I was talking about, lupus impacts women of color, particularly Hispanic and Black females. And he corrected me and he said, don't forget Alaskan Native and North American Indigenous. Don't forget Alaskan Native and North American Indigenous. Don't forget, because this is a community group, an ethnic group, historically mistreated and an overlooked population. And this, as I think I mentioned last week, is kind of personal to me. I am North American Indigenous, though I wasn't raised on a reservation, nor do I carry a lot of information about my heritage outside of Ancestry DNA. I do feel a calling to talk about this. This is a big part of my DNA, a big part of it. So talk about it. We shall come back. Join us on 1/24/25. So not this Friday, but next Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay? All right. All right, guys, let's go ahead. Please make sure you share this on all of your Facebook pages. People get connected to the information. I'm going to piggyback on the blog that I posted yesterday. I'm not sure if everyone saw it, but this is the blog that I wrote maybe a year or two ago, maybe last year, I think, about how to effectively communicate what is lupus when someone asks. So I'm going to go ahead and put a banner here real quick. Do I have that one here? I don't. Let's do it. Okay, here we go. How to effectively answer the question, what is lupus? There. Let's see. I think that works. Yeah. Right? That works. Okay, guys, I need to take a sip of water because my mouth is super dry and I'm going to be talking. A lot. Hold on one sec. Perfect, guys. Thank you for sharing. Awesome. By the way, for those of you who have things that you won, or I have little packages going out today. So it was the first time that I actually had time to get stuff in the mail. So anyway, apologies for the delay. So here's the topic today: how to effectively answer the question, what is lupus? What is lupus? Now, lupus is an incredibly challenging and complex condition, right? Duh. Preaching to the choir here. And it makes sense why it is somewhat difficult and a tongue twister when someone asks you about it, right? It can be can throw you off. You're like, where do I start? I don't even know where to begin. There's so much there. It's such a complicated disease. Giving a straight and concise answer may feel like a logical thing to do. However, beneath your response, there's a lot of feelings. You could just totally blank. You've got, lupus fog. You may freeze. You may want to not overburden them with information. That's fawn mode. So I wanted to share, and I shared in the blog, information about what I say and what I have curated over all of these years when people ask me, what is lupus? And I want to explain to you why I say, and how I've come up with this carefully curated response from my many years of navigating systemic lupus and multiple lupus overlap conditions. So sometimes when people say, what's lupus? I've never heard of lupus, or I think I know what it is. Can you explain it to me? There are a lot of fears and concerns, right? We talked about this in the blog. I don't know how much information to give. I don't want to scare people, but I don't want to downplay it. I want to give a straight answer. Being clear is kind, right? I want them to take my disease seriously, but I don't know how many personal details to give. I want to maintain healthy boundaries. I don't know if I want to share personal details about my health. I don't know what is most important to say and what is not most important to say, and how to trim the fat. And the list goes on and on. The stress of trying to create this perfect response can be stressful, and then you just kind of blank out and don't know what to say, right? Okay. So when someone asks me lupus, I think I have heard the word, but I don't really know much about it. What is it? Okay, when someone asks me that, this is what I say, and I'm going to put it right here for you to memorize. I'll put it in the comments, and then I'll put it up here. Okay. Boop. This is what I say, guys. Lupus is a chronic inflammatory autoimmune condition that causes the immune system, your body's natural defense system, to attack healthy cells by mistake. And when that happens, it can cause pain and fatigue from inflammation. If the inflammation is not kept in check, it can cause tissue damage, leading to organ failure and even early mortality. There is no cure, and I have to take a lot of medications to treat it. There it is. There it is, okay? There is my response right there. It may seem like a mouthful, right? Which is why I'm reposting the blog and why I'm talking about it here, because the more that you get it in your body, the more you get your mouth around it, it will be very easy to at least bring up part of this, if not all of this. It takes all of 5 seconds to say. I slowed it down when I said it this last time, but I've timed it. I have timed it. It takes less than 5 seconds to say. Lupus is a chronic inflammatory autoimmune condition that causes the immune system, your body's natural defense system, to attack healthy cells by mistake. And when that happens, it can cause pain and sometimes fatigue from inflammation. And if the inflammation, unfortunately, isn't kept in check or caught in time, it can cause tissue damage. And that can even lead to organ failure and even mortality, sadly. And there's no cure, and I have to take a lot of medications to treat it. That was 5 seconds, maybe even less. Yep. Okay. So 5 seconds to say, and in that time, you have covered a heck of a lot of information, and all of it means something important. So let's break it down, okay? Let's break it down. Part 1, lupus is a chronic inflammatory autoimmune condition that causes the immune system, your body's natural defense system, to attack healthy cells by mistake, okay? Let's just do part 1, and I'm going to talk about it. Here is part 1. Why did I choose this wording? Well, right off the bat, you're saying lupus is a chronic disease. It's a chronic disease, meaning they know this is not appendicitis, this is not broken bone, this is not temporary. This is not going to go away, but it's foreseeable future. Okay, let's just call us a spade a spade. There is no resolution. I don't mean to sound like I'm catastrophizing. I want to be clear. You can't just get over it. You cannot get over it. It's not a cold. It is a chronic condition. That's why that's there. Another significant point in this section is the inflammatory. Lupus is a chronic inflammatory autoimmune condition. We'll get to that part in a second. Inflammatory autoimmune condition. Most people know what inflammatory means, hopefully, right? Inflammatory means it causes inflammation. What's that? Swelling. And over the years, I've chosen to put inflammatory before autoimmune because some might hear the word autoimmune and have some weird stigma attached to immune, infectious diseases like AIDS and other things of that nature. And just to clarify off the bat, it is different. Autoimmune is different than immune or infectious disease. Lastly, if they don't know what autoimmune means, this right here, autoimmune condition that causes the immune system, your body's natural defense system, to attack healthy cells by mistake. There it is. There it is. It's a simple and easy to follow description of how your immune system works, your body's natural defense system works, and how an overactive response in lupus works. My cells are attacking my healthy cells by mistake. It's not an infectious disease. It's an autoimmune disease. And when that happens, it causes inflammation. Inflammatory. Boom. Moving on. Okay. Part two. When that happens, it can cause, here, I'll just do this like this. Part two here. When that happens, it can cause pain and fatigue from inflammation. If the inflammation is not kept in check, it can cause tissue damage, which can lead to organ failure and even early mortality. This section, I worded it like this because it is important to introduce them to the disease process. People over my lifetime have asked me many times, well, what does lupus cause? How does it make you feel? And what are the two top symptoms? Pain and fatigue, right? So it introduces people to the disease process and some of the most common symptoms, pain and fatigue. Of course, there are more than pain and fatigue symptoms, but those are the two main ones. And notice, I say, if the inflammation, what did I say here? Oh, I say when that happens, it can cause pain and fatigue from inflammation. I don't say if. All right, that one word, when that happens, I don't say if that happens, it's subtle, but it's intentional because it brings a seriousness to your symptoms, all right? I say when that happens, not if. Additionally, as I mentioned, someone's going to ask you how lupus makes you feel. The response is just really clear. To sum it up here, two top symptoms, pain and fatigue right away. We already know a ton more symptoms than that, but we just kind of get into the weeds with that, and this keeps it very concise. The last sentence explains how and why we have those symptoms, ending with a truth bomb about the inflammation that can wreak havoc on your body and cause so many problems and even death, if not treated and taken seriously, is scary to say, and I understand that, which is why this section may be the hardest, because you're talking about really hard things here. You're talking about organ failure, you're talking about early mortality, you may mention, when you mention this, someone else might know someone who has lost someone to lupus, or you may be thinking of someone in your community that you've lost to lupus. It's really hard, but being clear is being kind, as Brene Brown says. We're not trying to be Debbie Downer. As I mentioned in the blog, You're just being Debbie direct. You're being direct and you're stating the facts. Stating the facts, ma'am. Okay? So that is part 2. Let's get to part 3. And this is the last part. Part 3. There is no cure, and I have to take a lot of medications to treat it. It's important to end the way you started and to bring the point home that lupus is a chronic, ongoing condition. And there is no smoothie, there is no herbal supplement, there is no yoga pose, there is no diet, there is no self-help book that will make it go away. Okay? And something that I wrote in the blog that I want to mention here. Many times we have throughout our journey, and I would assume I'm saying we collectively because the amount of time that's happened to me, I'm making an assumption that it's happened to you at some point in your lupus journey. That I have had someone interject when they've heard I've had lupus or know I'm going through a hard time or ask me about my illness. They will say, my friend had lupus and it went away after they did this, and fill in whatever snake oil remedy, herbal supplement, smoothie, hyperbolic chamber they've been living in, whatever. Okay. I do not want to negate their experience. I do not know their lived experience, nor do I have judgment about how and what they are doing. But the chances are, either from the things that I've read and things that have been expressed to me through listening and being by proxy of the world's top rheumatologist and the privileged place that I hold here in this nonprofit space, chances are either they didn't have lupus in the first place or they are currently in remission, not cured, which are both wonderful things, okay? Wonderful things. Maybe they thought you had lupus, but you actually have something else. That could be a good thing if you could find something that worked for you in your body. That's great. But it's entirely anecdotal information. Entirely anecdotal. And it's not helpful to you who isn't asking to be fixed. You're only asking to be heard. It's entirely unhelpful to you who isn't asking to be fixed, only asking to be heard. I said this the other day to my son. I said, if I want help, I will ask for it. I just want to be heard. Okay? Yeah. Yes. All right. So back to this last little section here, part 3. There is no cure, and I have to take a lot of medications to treat it. This is important. This is important here. I also want to prepare you for something with this section. Mentioning medications can be a tricky thing. Boundaries, right? This is one of the hardest boundaries to put in place because people want to know. They need to know, how much are you taking? What are you taking? How high of the doses are you taking? When did you start? What does it do to you? Let's be honest though, the only reason you are most likely able to function and be a part of the land of the living is because you are highly medicated at all times, or at least I am. And that's important for people to know, that you're just not like floating through life saying you have all these issues. No, you are doing your best to show up, having to do everything you can, pull out every tool in your toolbox to be able to function in the world, right? And many of us take a heck of a lot of medication to do it. There should be no judgment on that. I am highly medicated at all times. I joke about that, but it is absolutely true. Take 4 immunosuppressant medications. I've been on steroids for decades. All right. I take other things too for my lungs and my inflammatory and my joints and everything to help. I mean, everything. Okay. So this sentence right here, this sentence adds yet another level of seriousness to this conversation. Why is this important? Well, I've already said that I find it really important because it adds to the seriousness of the conversation. Because we are so often told what? We don't look sick. Don't look sick. You look fine. You look great. Why are you complaining or having a hard time? You look great. Many lupus symptoms, not always and not for all, but many are not visible to others. Some are, and some people have to live with their lupus so visible to people. And that has a massive set of challenges, right? Because we live in a cruel world. But many people, including myself, most 90% of my lupus symptoms are not visible. Or I do a good job of hiding them, I guess. And so people can dismiss the severity of the disease. And spreading awareness about the immunosuppressive therapies or steroid therapies that you have just received or are going through or going to receive or have been on for years, may just be that bit of information, that boost of knowledge that a person needs to rise above the level and layers of misconceptions regarding your illness. We call that unconscious incompetence, and it sounds a little mean to say, but essentially it means people don't know what they don't know, and they make assumptions that are not correct based on the little bit of information that they have, and sometimes information they already have is not accurate anyway, okay? So it is important to be as honest, but you also have to remember your boundaries and what feels safe. If you feel, I mentioned this in the blog, if you feel that you are in a headspace or not in a headspace where you just don't feel safe, this is my response, because people ask me a lot about my medications, how much I take, when did I take it, how high steroids I'm on, what's my dosing for Benlysta, why do I do both injections and infusions, which ones do I like better, how much methotrexate do I take, am I on an antidepressant, I get asked that all the time. And sometimes I just don't feel like I want to discuss every detail. I mean, I don't know what this person's taken, but they want to know what I take. And this is what I say. I talk a lot about lupus, and sometimes I just get so tired of it. Maybe we can get coffee sometime and we can go over my medications, and I can tell you why. And you see what I did there? I put up a boundary in a nice way using light-hearted language and saying, if you want to know what medications I'm on, I want you to know me first, all of me. Let's sit down and get to know each other better. And if my medications come up, then they come up. Okay? Yeah. Sometimes I'm just tired talking about it. And that is entirely up to you. You have the right to say as much or as little as you want. Always. Always. So there you go. It is almost 11:45. I hope that is helpful. And also, it may not work with everyone. I want to be real with you. Will it work with everyone? Probably not. Will people forget what you told them? Probably yes. Will you have to say it more than one time to some people? Undoubtedly, yes. I've been married for almost 15 years, And I still have to say this to my husband because he has the Finding Nemo Dory syndrome where he kind of forgets things, and I have to just lovingly remind him, okay? But at least you know you are telling your truth. You are being upfront, you're being honest, you are spreading awareness, and you are being open in a way that's safe for you. And that is all you can do. All you can do, right? And if people dismiss or interrupt you, don't listen, that is on them. They asked, and you answered to the best of your ability, being clear and being kind. And if they didn't want to know, they should have asked about the weather, right? Okay. All right. That is it for today regarding our topic. Please, I want to remind you again, post comments, questions, concern right now. I'm going to give you your Lupus live quote for your week, and then I'm going to start at the top and work my way down. How is everyone doing today? Oops, where did my comments go? There we go. How is everyone doing today? Good? Your Lupus Live quote is just going to kind of piggyback on what we were talking about today. And is this an anonymous quote that I found on the internet, on the WWWs, the World Wide Webs. So I don't know who to attribute this quote to, but if you do, let me know. And it just says this: when you can't control what's happening, challenge yourself to control the way you respond to what's happening. Yeah. Hi. Hi, everybody. When you can't control what's happening, challenge yourself to control the way you respond to what's happening. And that is your quote for today. This is a spin on something I say a lot. Control the controllables. We cannot control other people's comments, other people's assumptions, other people's judgments, other people's perceptions. There is a book that came out and it says Let Them, I think is the name of it. And it's like a #1 bestseller. And essentially, the book, if I'm paraphrasing horribly, talks about how we spend so much time trying to convince other people to think like us, to understand us, to validate us, to conform, to see our perspective, to people please, to make them like us, right? It drives people up the wall if we know someone doesn't like us. But the book was saying, let them not like you. Let them not understand. Let them think what they're going to think. You cannot control that. You cannot control, many times, your lupus as well. You can't control infections that rise up. I was on an antiviral a few weeks ago, and now on an antibiotic. I can't control those things, okay? I can do my best to be aware of my surroundings, but I can't control that. Sometimes we can't control the protein in our urine. Sometimes we can't control our inflammatory markers or our low white cells or our high ANA or our other SSA, SSB, DS, anti-double-strand dsDNA antibodies. That was a mouthful, sorry. Sometimes we can't control that stuff. We can't control a reaction to a medication, right? We can't control a rude person who sees you getting out of a parking spot with a disabled placard, and they think they have the right to comment on your varying levels of ability and mobility. You can't control that. You can't control what's happening, but challenge yourself to control the way you respond to what's happening. to not be diminished by the comments and the misunderstandings and the unconscious incompetence, as I mentioned earlier. The people who don't know what they don't know, right? The energy that I have wasted being upset about small minds and small comments that are so ignorant. It's just not worth it. We have finite numbers of days on this earth. Don't squander them away with trying to get someone to get you. You say your truth. If they ask, if they show genuine concern, and they're a safe person that you want to share with, you can tell them, but how they manage and how they respond and their feelings and emotions is not your job to manage. You are in charge of one thing: your responses, your actions, your feelings only. I'm not saying don't be respectful, responsible, own up to the times when you messed up, take responsibility for your bad decisions. Of course. But that is part of challenging yourself to control the way you respond to what's happening. It is taking ownership and responsibility for missteps. Yeah? But at the end of the day, you cannot manage how other people respond to your illness. You can only manage how you respond to your illness. And I choose, after 33 years of living with this illness and had many years of me in a funk about it, to live a full life, because there are no guarantees in life. And if people want to judge me for how I look, what I do, that's on them. But I've got one life, and many days were taken from me in my early years with this illness, and I do not want to go there again. There will be hard days. It can be hard. There are going to be some really painful, crappy days, infections, treatments. Yes, I get it. But it doesn't have to be the weight of all that you are. And it doesn't have to take all that you are away. It is one part of you. One part of you. All right? So let's say hi to some people. That's all I got for my stuff here. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, everyone, let's sing a little happy birthday song from Mari. Her birthday is tomorrow, okay? I'm going to sing to you, okay? Everyone listen. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mari. Happy birthday to you. Yay! I hope you have a wonderful. I saw that your daughter's already celebrating. That is so fun. Wow. Look at you. Look at all you've done. You have had a life, man. That is so awesome. You are so welcome. Thank you for sharing it. Awesome. Let's see here. One time I had a coworker ask about this. Carrie's joining us from Washington. Lupus. I think I scared her. She was like, "Can I catch it?" I was like, "No." Yeah. This whole thing about lupus being contagious. Yes. Let me sneeze on you and let my autoimmune corrupted cells infect your cells. No, it doesn't work that way. My cells are beating up my other cells. My cells do not care about your cells. Hate to disappoint you. I'm too busy kicking my own butt to think about yours. Okay? Doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. It's not an episode of The Walking Dead. Okay? I can't spread it to you. Perfectly worded includes a lot easy words for people to hopefully understand. Oh, thank you. Awesome. So you can go back and read it. I broke it down for you. I had autoimmune and pancreatitis. I don't even think that was back in 2018. Was hospitalized with lupus strain. Yikes. That sounds awful, Carrie. Yes, I've been told that a lot. Hello. Hi. Hi, Micah. So good to see you here. We've got Edwina joining as well. You are so welcome. So welcome. And just a reminder, guys, to put this on your calendar. I'm going to put this here for you. Dr. Thomas will be with us on the 24th at 12 p.m. right here, which is 3 p.m. Eastern time, for our How Lupus Impacts Alaskan Native and North American Indigenous communities. And just a reminder that this event will spotlight the often overlooked, however disproportionately impacted Alaskan Native and North American Indigenous communities. As he mentioned online, he doesn't consider himself an expert in this field. He knows many but he's pulling from the best studies of demographics and everything that he has read to help treat his patients and understand this population. And particularly since the population is larger here, especially in the Pacific Northwest, Oregon, for Alaskan Natives, I just felt like this is something I really wanted to bring to light, as we are always trying to shine a light on disproportionately impacted communities here at More Than Lupus. So please make sure to put this on your calendar. I'm going to have a really good crowd. If you are Hispanic or Latinx, this is something that you may not know impacts you, because Latinos carry on average 18% or more of Native American ancestry. All right. And there are more than 5 million Americans who identify as Native American, and 50 million Americans who have Latino or Hispanic heritage. You may not even know that you have North American Indigenous DNA, and you do. So time to take a responsibility and lean into this conversation. And it's something that's very personal to me. So I'm very excited to present this with Dr. Thomas, who wrote the Lupus Encyclopedia. Now in its second edition, make sure you come and join us for that. And that'll be here and also on YouTube. I'll see if I can get it on LinkedIn as well. Okay, guys, I am going to head out a couple minutes early because my mouth is so dry and I have to pee. So too much information. Happy to be here with you today. If you haven't done so already, share this on your personal Facebook page, get other people connected to this information. And I really hope today was informative and inspiring, and that you got some good tidbits on how you can effectively respond to someone when they ask you, what is lupus? All right. I'll see you next time. Take care, my friends. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Bye-bye for now.